Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold with your host, Bryan Vogt. Are you wanting or even thinking about selling your house but don't know where to start? Good thing you found Ready, Set, Sold. And now, real estate broker, Bryan Vogt.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt. Thanks so much for joining us this Saturday. Do you believe it? It's actually December. We're actually into December. Hopefully, you've gotten your holiday gifts all bought, your tree's up, your decorations are done. If not, it's okay. Maybe you're doing it this weekend. I know Thanksgiving weekend, my goodness, the weather was so fantastic that a lot of people got a lot of things done. And hopefully you're in the same situation. If not, you still have time, but hopefully you'll be able to wrap it up, because I guess one of the things, and I think most people with the holidays, it's not something we want to dread. It's something, if we can get on top of it and get things done, and give us time to enjoy it. So hopefully that's what you're doing this Saturday, along with listening to us, which we thank you so much for. Let's kind of go into what we're going to be talking about today on the program. We've got some special guests. We've got Mayor Herb Roach of O'Fallon. He's going to be talking about some of the holiday festivities that they've done and they're doing in the city of O'Fallon, Illinois. Plus some amazing things I'm sure he'll share with us about the city itself and the plans that they have since last we talked. I think we talked about maybe a month or two ago. So that'll be something you definitely want to listen to. Also, we have Mary Sutter. And Mary Sutter is going to be talking about Harsh Rescue. It's a program she's deeply involved with, does a fantastic job with. She'll be talking in our third segment. And the segment after this one is going to be Larry McQueen of Carpet Care Plus, and he's going to be talking about the importance of making sure your carpets are clean, and that's really huge when you're talking about selling your house. And, of course, with the holiday season coming on, it's always a great idea to have your house in the best shape, whether or not you're selling it. But if you are selling it, he's going to be giving some tips of what you should be looking for in that segment. With that, I want to kind of go back. And we've been doing this now, my goodness, I think for close to 7 months. It's unbelievable. And we've been having some fantastic success. People have been very, very kind with their words and their messages and thoughts and listening to the program. So for that, I'm very, very thankful for. I think the other part of it is just, though, that if you've just started listening to us, kind of recap how this all started. The program is based on a number one best-selling book I wrote called Ready, Set, Sold, 12 Proven Steps to Sell Your House Fast and for Top Dollar in St. Louis Metro East. And one of the reasons why I wrote it, one of the main reasons why I wrote it, was the simple fact is there just wasn't anything out there from my 2 decades almost of being in real estate that gave home sellers steps, proven steps that they can use to get top dollar in a fast sale. There are all kinds of things on the internet. There's all kinds of things on the cable, how to sell your home shows. But that's the East Coast and West Coast. And we live here in the Midwest. We live here in the heartland. So I wanted to make sure that we had a book, had some type of a guide that sellers could use. Whether or not they use me, that was okay. Use your favorite realtor that you know, like, and trust. But that they had something as a guideline that they could use to get the results that they're looking for and give them the confidence that they need. So that's why I wrote the book. That led to the radio program, the radio station, 1380 The Answer, contacted me and said, hey, about doing a weekly radio program, and the rest, as they say, is history. I'm offering the book absolutely free, no strings attached. If you go to readysetsold.org, not.com, readysetsold.org, not.com, fill out some brief information. We'll send you the book. No cost. There's something about actually having a book in your hands. It's kind of cool. I have a Kindle, and I use that too, but I also like the book form too. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. And with that, let's talk about our main subject that we want to be talking about this first segment. And that is what we hear quite often in real estate. And I kind of broke it into something very short and sweet. The season isn't the reason why your house isn't selling. And I say that because not only do we hear this often from people that, well, it's the holiday season, it's the winter season, it's the summer or whatever. The season, in most cases, 99% of the time, is not going to be the reason why your house isn't selling if you have it on the market. And we're going to go into more in depth about that. But first, it's important to understand, houses that go into the spring season, they don't always sell. In the summer season, they don't always sell. In the winter and the fall, the same thing. So again, it's not geared towards the season. And too many times, and this is a professional opinion, too many times agents tend to say, well, it's the holidays and nobody's looking and it's not gonna work, and getting your house on the market just isn't a good time. To me, as far as I'm concerned, if you as a seller don't want to put your house on the market, that's fine. But just in our teams, we sold 2 houses last week. We're putting more houses on the market this coming week. And we're not alone, okay? I mean, talk to agents all the time, and there's all kinds of houses that are not only being sold but coming onto the market. So you just want to make sure that that's not the issue that you're dealing with, or that your agent's not giving you some, what I believe is bad advice. So what is going on, though, if your house isn't selling? Well, we're going to make some assumptions. Number one assumption is going to be that the marketing program that the agent laid out is something that you agreed with. It thought it was going to work. You're very confident about that. Secondly, we're going to assume that you did the updates. So if updates were required, that you did the 1, 2, 3, the painting, the flooring, and also kitchens and bathrooms, that you made the updates that were needed for that. As you've heard me talk before, if you've listened to the program before, bottom line, there is probably that's almost a non-starter. If you don't have the house with the updates, the chances of selling are slim and none. It doesn't matter what time of year, it doesn't matter the season. It's just it's not going to work out well. So if your house isn't selling for whatever reasons, and it's been on the market longer than you think, and that could be 2 months, that could be 3 months, whatever that amount is, hopefully your agent has been talking to you on a weekly or at least biweekly, giving you feedback of what's going on with the market. But the simple fact of the matter, if all those places I mentioned before are in place, you probably have a pricing issue. And you need to start looking at the pricing of where you're at and what you need to be done. Now, every house is different. Every situation is different. And there could be some reasons if you have a high-end home, maybe in the $500,000 range, or maybe in a particular area, that for whatever reasons, there are not many of them, that just houses aren't selling fast, and they have a track record, not just now, but a track record of not being able to sell quickly. Again, having an agent that has that experience that can kind of give you that insight to kind of what's going on. But if not, then we have a location, and we have to find out where that pricing needs to be at for the location that you're at. And this could be various things to look for, but again, starting with the location, what has sold in the past 3 months, and that maybe getting back into that market area in that price range is what you're going to need to do. But again, it's having a frank conversation. If your agent is saying the season, I respectfully disagree. Again, it doesn't make sense in some ways, right? If houses are selling now, the question is more so is why isn't your house selling? And then you may have to look at the price. If there's other things, maybe, but we kind of nailed out 99% of it with the marketing, updating, and making sure your house is in the location and priced for the location. So with that said, before we go into the next segment, I also want to mention that a lot of people have talked about the radio program. They may miss something. They may not catch something. We've got them on podcasts, so you can go to Google Play or iTunes. If you want to take one segment, maybe that you want to hear again, or maybe that you missed, you started the program a little bit late, that's okay. And we also have them on YouTube and also LinkedIn. So we have a myriad of ways that you can get plugged in, because that's really what this show is about, is trying to give people information that can help them in the sale of their house. And again, I think that's critical and useful information and proven information that's so critical when you're selling your biggest asset. And for most people, it is. So with that said, I'm going to also talk about a little bit more. Get the book. You know what? Even if you're not going to be selling your home for a year, it's okay. Go to ReadySetSold.org, net.com, ReadySetSold.org, net.com, and pick up a copy of the book. It's absolutely free, no strings attached, and I hope that everyone does. A lot of people already have, and we've had some great reviews. Again, I thank you so much for that. With that said, we'll be talking about carpets and the need for making sure those carpets are cleaned and when to bring in that, maybe only in the beginning, but also at the end of the sale, the final walkthrough that we're going to go into more detail about in the next segment with Larry McQueen. And before I forget, we are also going to have the tip of the week, and that's going to be the last segment. It's going to be dealing with what we talked about in this first segment, so you don't want to miss it. I think it will surprise a lot of people what the tip is going to be. Having said that, we will see you in a few. Listen to Ready, Set, Sold with your host, Bryan Vogt.